Kuya, where's mommy? It's already late. I haven't seen her.
Why? Is there something wrong?
Nothing. I just miss her and I want to go sleep.
Oh, you know what? Maybe mom is still working. Let let me check up on her.
Yes, please. Let's call her right now. I want to make sure that she's okay.
Oh no! My game needs me to focus. Hold on, I'm still occupied playing Mobile Legends. Let me call your sister so she can help you instead. Oh, there she is! Genesis! Genesis! Karen is worried and wants to call her.
Do you want me to call her? Alright, I can do that. Hello, Mom. Are you still at work?
Yes, dear. I'm sorry. I still got a lot of papers to do. I'll be having to work overtime to finish this.
Alright, I'll understand. I'll tell Karen about that. Hey, Karen. It's a bad news, but Mom said that she'll be working overtime this day.
What's overtime?
Did you really wanna know?
Yes.
Then let's watch a video about overtime work so you will know why mom doing that. So hello students, welcome to our new exciting lesson for today.
But before we start, we would like to share a quote for today. Good days give happiness, bad days give experience, worst days give lessons, and the best days give memories.
Now, I hope you're all ready to embark on a fantastic learning adventure together.
Before we dive in, let's take a moment to greet one another. Can you all give a big wave to the screen and say hello?
Hello!
Awesome. I'm so glad to see each and every one of you here today. Are you ready to explore some fascinating topics and expand your knowledge?
Throughout this video lesson, we will be exploring new lessons, solving problems, and lots of have fun together.
Remember, if you have any questions or need further clarifications, don't hesitate to pause the video and write them down. We'll address them later together.
Your understanding and success are important to us, so let's work together to make this lesson a meaningful and enjoyable experience.
Alright, everyone, get ready to learn, explore, and have a fantastic time. Let's dive into our incredible journey of knowledge.
Buckle up and let's begin.
Let's go! So today students, we will tackle about an important topic that affects the employees. 1, 2, 3.
Overtime pay! So, have you ever wondered what happens when you work extra hours beyond our regular schedule?
Well, that's where overtime pay comes in. Overtime pay is the additional compensation you receive for working more than the standard hours you're established by your employer.
Overtime work refers to the additional hours an employee voluntarily works beyond the regularly working hours. It's an opportunity to earn extra cash while supporting the company's financial and production goals.
Imagine you're working on a project that requires some extra time. Your handwork and dedication deserve some recognition, alright? Right?
Overtime works becomes crucial to deadlines, delivery products and service prompts, and maintain customer satisfaction.
In the Philippines, employees can render up to 8 hours of overtime work. However, it's important to note that not all employees are required to work overtime.
Employees are exempt from overtime work such as managers, field personnel, domestic helpers, workers hired for personal service, members of the employer's family, dependent on the employee for support, and those whose compensation is result-based.
Additionally, an employee cannot demand or compel the employer to assign overtime work if it's not required by the circumstances or if there is no extra work to be done. It's essential to understand that overtime work should be agreed upon by both the employer and the employee, considering the needs of the company and the well-being of the employee.
In the Philippines, labor law ensures fair and timely payment for employees. Let's explore labor law and Article 103. Labor Law Article 103 states that wage shall be paid at least once every 2 weeks for twice a month. which interval not exceeding 16 days.
However, if due to force majeure or circumstances beyond the employer's control, the payments cannot be made within the prescribed time. The employers must pay the wages immediately after such conditions have ceased. It's important to note that no employer is allowed to make payments with a frequency less than once a month.
All employees required to work beyond 8 hours is one workday is entitled to overtime pay. This basis of overtime pay is found in Article 87 of Labor Code.
Article 87. Overtime work. Work may be performed beyond 8 hours a day provided that the employee is paid for the overtime work an additional compensation equivalent to his regular wage plus at least 25% thereof. Work performed beyond 8 hours on a holiday or rest day shall be paid an additional compensation equivalent to the rate for the first 8 hours on a holiday or rest day plus at least 30% thereof. Now, let's move on to the practical examples.
There are 5 conditions that we will be focusing on in calculating overtime pay. Number 1, ordinary day. Number 2, rest day or special day. Number 3, rest day falling on special day. Number 4, regular holiday. And number 5, rest day falling on a regular holiday.
Ordinary day is the most common overtime rate. Overtime rate on an ordinary day is equal to the regular hourly rate multiplied by 125%. Now, let's start the first example. Marian works 8 hours a day. Her daily wage is 750 pesos. If she worked 12 hours last Thursday, how much was her wage that day? OT rate equals regular hourly rate times 125%. First, we need to rate the 12 hours that she worked and the 8 hours her regularly worked and the 4 hours her overtime. Next, always remember her daily rate is 750 pesos. To compute the hourly rate, we need to divide the daily rate to 8. $750 divided by 8. So the hourly rate is 93.75 hours. Next, the regular working hours. $750. Okay, equals to 93.75 times to 125%. The auto rate. Next, the auto pay. OT hours times 2 OT rate 4 times this sa OTP is 168.75. Next, add the regularly working hours, this, and the OT pay to get the minimum wage. The total wage that they was $1,218.75.
Rest days, for example, are the Saturdays and Sundays for employees who work from Monday to Friday. Special days are the local holidays. If an employee works on his rest day or at a special day, the rate will be regular hourly rate multiplied by 130%. In short, rest day rate is equals to regular hourly rate multiplied by 130%. So in this example, we will be using the written text that states that a school staff works regularly from Monday to Friday. However, on Sunday, he worked from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. How much should be his total pay for that day if his daily rate is 600 pesos? So starting here, we will be analyzing that the total work that he has done amounts to 12 hours, in where 8 of those 12 hours is his regular working hours. Meanwhile, 1 hour of those 12 is his break time. And the left hours is his overtime, that equates to 3 hours. From here, we will need to list that his daily rate is 600 pesos. But we won't be stopping from here, and we need to solve for his hourly rate. And the solution to get the hourly rate will be 600, his daily rate, divided by 8, which will be, hold on. So from here, we will be finding the quotient. After we get the hourly rate, which amounts to 75 pesos per hour, which was shown earlier, we will need to get his rest day rate, which will be computed using hourly rate multiplied by 130%. So using that formula, we will be, from here, since we already computed that, we will be using it here. 75 times 1.3. After we get that, now we know the rest day rate is 97.5. Then we can move on the next solutions, but we will first so this 600 is still from the daily rate times 130%, which will equal to 780. And then we will solve for the overtime rate next, which is 97.5. See this, this is what we calculated from earlier, times 130%, which will equate to 126.75. So using this, we will be able to compute the overtime pay, which is computed by using the overtime hours, which is from what we saw earlier. This is 3. This one, 3 times 126.75. This is from this calculation that we did earlier. So from this, we will see that the overtime pay that he got from this day is 380.28. But that's not what the question is asking. So we will be adding his this rest day rate 780, and the one that we computed earlier 380.25, which will amount to 1,160.25. That is the total wage that he got that day.
Rest day falling on a special day. If an employee works on his rest day, which falls on a special day, the rate will be regular hourly rate multiplied by 150%. Let's take a look at this example. Kevin is a nurse. He works regularly from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. However, on May 21, Malabon Day, he worked from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., which coincided with his rest day. How much should be his total pay for that day if his daily rate is 1,400 pesos? Her regular time of 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. is 14 hours, where 8 is regular working hour, and 1 is rest time, and 5 is overtime. The daily rate is 1,400 pesos. The hourly rate is daily rate. So over rate, and we will substitute. So 1,408, and we will divide it. And we will divide 1,400 divided by 8. Wait lang, tapos
Okay.
the hourly rate is 175 per hour. Per hour.
3.
And the rest day falling on special day rate equal to 175 times to 130% equal to 207.5.
3.
The RDSD rate is 1,400 times 150%. So we're gonna solve it. And the rate is 2,100.
Great.
And now we're gonna do the OT rate. The OT rate is 227.5 times 130%. So now we're gonna times it. And our OT rate is 295.75.
Great.
To get the OT pay, we need to multiply OT pay. We need to multiply the OT hours, which is 5. And the OT rate is 295.75. Now we're gonna multiply it. And the OT pay is 1,478.75.
There you go.
To get the total wage, we need to add the RDSD rate and the OT pay. Now we're gonna add it. And that's how you get the total wage. And the total wage that day was 3,578.75 pesos.
Most employees commonly look at this type of overtime because this is termed as double pay. Regular holiday. If an employee works on holiday, the rate will be regular hourly rate multiplied by 200%. OT rate is equals to regular holiday rate times 130%. So here's the example number 4. A comic editor is required to work 8 hours a day. His daily wage is 1,500 pesos. If he worked on All Saints Day for 13 hours, how much was his total pay for that day? So that he worked 13 hours, 8 hours for regular working hours, and working hours, and 5 hours in overtime. The daily rate is 1,500 pesos. To get the hourly rate, we will use the formula daily rate over 8. So let's substitute 1,500 over 8. So let's compute it. So now we get the hourly rate, which is 187.5 per hour. So to get the regular holiday rate, RH rate, we will multiply 187.5 times 200%. Our RH rate is equals to 375 pesos per hour. So we will move on to the RH rate of the daily. So RH rate is equals to the daily rate times 200%. Let's substitute 1,500 times 200%. So our RH rate is equals to 3,000 pesos. To get the OT rate, we will multiply the RH rate that we get in the hourly rate, 375 times 130%. Let's compute. So we will get OT rate of 487.5. So the OT pay is equals to the overtime times the OT rate. So we have 5 hours of overtime times the OT rate, which is 487.5. So let's compute. So our OT pay is equals to 2,000. So 2,437.5. Then to get the total wage, we will plus the RH rate and the OT pay. So 3,000 pesos plus 2,437.5 equals to 5,734. The total wage for that day was 5,437.5 pesos.
Now let's get to the fifth type of overtime pay. The rest day falling on a regular holiday. If an employee works on his rest day which falls on a regular holiday, the rate will be hourly rate multiplied by 260%, such that the rest day falling on the regular holiday rate is equal to the regular hourly rate multiplied to 260%, and the overtime rate is equal to the rest day falling on a regular holiday rate multiplied to 130%. Now let's have our fifth and last example. Number 5. Ming is a police officer and worked from 6 a.m. until 11 p.m. on Christmas Day, which was also his rest day. Compute for his total pay for that day if his daily rate is 700 pesos. Now note that Christmas Day is a regular holiday, and it was also mentioned that it was his rest day. So we're gonna the total hours from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. is 17 hours, where 8 hours is the regular working hours. 1 is the rest time, and 8 is his overtime. The daily rate is 700 pesos. It was mentioned here. And to get the hourly rate, we need to divide the daily rate to 8. So substitute. And so his hourly rate is 87.5 per hour. Now let's get the rest day falling on regular holiday rate. We'll just multiply his hourly rate to 260%. So we have 260% 27.5%. Per hour. Sorry. Per hour. Now, let's get his rest day falling on regular holiday rate for the day. It's 700, the daily rate. Multiply to 260%. We'll get 1,820. Then we'll get his OT rate, overtime rate, by this formula. We'll use the 227.5 multiplied to 130%, and we'll get 295.75. Now, to get his overtime pay, the pay he'll get from his 8-hour overtime, we'll have to multiply his OT hours to his OT rate, which are 8 hours and 227.5. We'll get 1,820. And to get his total pay for that day, we'll just add his rest day on holiday, falling on holiday rate, which is 1,820, and his overtime pay, which is also 1,820. And we'll have the total pay that day was 3,640. And that's how we get our answer.
So that's what overtime pay is. What?